Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel Kazzalistic. So today it's the final part of the nativity. I know that somebody will be glad because I'll be getting a lot of thumbs down for the nativity on quite a few videos, so somebody obviously hasn't liked it, although if you don't like it, don't watch it. Sorry. It's not everybody's cup of tea, I know, but I'm thankful for all the people that have enjoyed it and given me lovely comments, so thank you very much. So today we are doing a little sheep and a donkey, if you hadn't already guessed from the intro. So these are very uncomplicated, they're all in single crochet, which is US terms, which is double crochet UK terms. So this is the sheep, and I think, as you can see, it's compared to my hand, it's quite small. So basically for the sheep, increases for, I think it was 3 rows, a few straight rows, decrease 2 rows, and then it was the technique where you weave the end in and out of the remaining stitches and pull it tight. The head was again increase a couple of rows, so just normal single crochet, and then a couple of rows decrease, and again same technique of weaving, obviously putting the eyes. The ears were just a few single crochets and obviously knit together. The feet, 2 rows of increases and then 3 rows of just single crochets and stitched on. Now, I know one person that will probably never make this, and this is our beloved Jan, because I know Jan's not keen on making this sort of thing, and I have to say, Jan, if you're watching, it was a real pain in the bum sewing these legs on. Not much space to work with, so they're not perfectly straight, but it does stand up, so which is I'm very pleased about. Yeah, and that's it for the sheep. So the yarn I've used, no great surprise, is Mariner double knit. I'm just still trying to use up my stash. And I've had a lot of Mariner out just doing different projects, and so I've just been grabbing what's near to hand in the frantic race that is the run up to Christmas. So it's Mariner double knit. If you're new to my channel, I use a lot of this. It works out £1. It's £1 obviously in the UK, per 100 gram ball, and it's 100% acrylic. So that's what Mariner double knit looks like. Now, some of the codes that I have are old balls of yarn, and they've been changing their yarn, and their yarn used to be super soft, and it's now a lot rougher than it was. So I don't enjoy using it as much as I did with the newer stuff. Don't know what they've done, it's such a shame because they've really spoilt it. But this is one of the newer codes. It is white, but the code is just 040. There we go. So that was obviously for the main body, and for the tail. The tail is just a couple of knotted pieces of yarn through the bottom. For the eyes, I've used Mariner double knit again, in the colour black, and it's C-045. This is one of the older codes. So the eyes are just French knots, same as all the other nativity ones. And for the feet and the muzzle and the ears, I've used again Mariner double knit, and it's shade C-003 in the colour lemon. It's a very pale yellow. There we go. And that's the sheep. For those of you that are new, the pattern that I'm referring to is actually a paid for pattern, which I originally got off Etsy, but you can find the link for it on Ravelry, and I will link it down in the description. And the pattern is by Gourmet Crochet. It's called Origami Nativity, and it's by Carolyn Christmas. There you go, Gourmet Crochet, which is there, Origami Nativity. And that's all the characters which I have now made, and I will link that down in the description. So for the donkey, his head and body was made in exactly the same manner as the sheep, as were the legs. The legs were absolutely identical, just a few more rows in between the increase and decrease. The decrease, to tie it off, was again weaving the end in and out of some of the stitches and pulling it, and that was for both the head and the body. And the mane again is just looped through the stitches and just a few strands, so it looks better from the side rather than, it doesn't look so great from the top. But and obviously French knot for the eyes, and we've done the same for the tails. Obviously weaved it through some stitches there. So for the eyes and the mane and the hooves, I've used Merino double net, same one you've just seen, which is C-045 black. I'm not going to ponder on it for too long because obviously you've just seen it. And then for the grey body, I've actually used up something that I was sent by Marie at Knit Crochet Mad, and one of the yarns she sent me, which again is 100% acrylic, is a Signet yarn, and it's called DK Pato. The shade is 917, and it's a light grey. The only thing I say about companies with yarn just recently, I don't like it when they just do numbers. It doesn't show any imagination to me, but maybe it's just me. So that's the donkey. So they were actually, oh, it's up there, incredibly simple to make. They do stand up, and it's ironic for me. I'll tell you a little bit about my family from these. These characters actually have more meaning than just the nativity for me. My great aunt and uncle had a farm down in Kent, which is part of the UK, in a part of a little village. They were literally down a lane in the middle of nowhere, and they used to have a sheep at one point. Just it was one or two of them. I can't remember how many were, but it wasn't a proper flock. It was just like literally. I remember towards the end there was just one sheep. So that has a special significance. But for me, the donkey has even more significance, because my great aunt and uncle actually had, well, amongst the flock of geese, and they used to have a barn full of chickens at one point when I was young, they actually had 3 donkeys, the mum and a dad, and they eventually had a baby, which became the 3rd one. So the daddy was Jack, the mummy was called Jenny, and the baby was called Jasper. I loved them all. I used to love spending time. I'd spend more time with the donkeys than I would with my family sometimes when I'd go visit. And I particularly loved Jack, the dad. There was one particular day where he did chase my mum around the field, so he sort of cemented himself in. I was a teenager. I found it hilarious at the time. I don't think mum was very impressed, but he was a little bit jealous because she was fussing Jasper because he was a little baby at that point, and Jack got jealous because he wasn't getting the attention. But they have it's a special reminder because I particularly loved the donkeys, and I had a lot of interaction. I used to feed them and stuff, and I know that my members of my family were all very fond of them as well. And something that a lot of you, my close friends and family will know, but those of you obviously that have only got to know me in this last year won't know that actually my great aunt and uncle's farm was actually where the outside scenes for the Darling Buds of May was filmed. So the outside of the house and the farm. Those of you in the US, I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it was a big series called Darling Buds of May here in the UK, and it ran for several series. In fact, they did actually want to film another series, but my aunt and uncle refused. I think they'd sort of had enough by then. So I have met Catherine Zeta-Jones long before she became a Hollywood star, and I have met David Jason and Pam Ferris, which were the main 2 characters. Yes, so that's kind of my vague claim to fame. So yeah, and the donkeys were actually featured in just for a few seconds in one of the episodes. So if you're a fan and you've ever watched them, look out for 3 donkeys in the distance in the field. They were actually my aunt and uncle's donkeys. Sadly, my aunt and uncle passed away a few years back, and the farm has now been sold, and you can go and stay there. It's been all converted and made in sort of holiday home place. It's not the same. I think all the family are a little bit devastated, but unfortunately it was just what happens when people pass away. Sometimes properties can't be kept, which is a shame. So yeah, so that's just a little bit of useless facts I thought I know some of you certainly in the UK will find interesting. I hope you do in the US as well. I don't know if you've ever heard of the series in the US, but it was very, very popular. and they do still hold a car rally once a year, actually at the farm, which raises money for the air ambulance and usually a cancer charity or something like that. That's usually split, and that did continue. I think it was on this year. I didn't actually go this year, but it did continue after the farm was sold. The new owner agreed to keep it going, and it was actually something my mum's cousin helped set up originally, so that's sort of a little bit of a legacy, which I really hope does continue. So that's really lovely. Anyway, so I just thought that'd be just some sort of interesting, useless facts about me that I thought you might like to share. I did forget to say with the donkey that about the ears, didn't I? The ears were just a couple of chains, and then it was single crochet, chain one, double crochet, chain one, single crochet into one stitch, and then single crochet. Same for both ears, and you just have to be careful how you position them. So yeah, so there you go. So these guys will be added to the set. I will try and take a picture and add the whole set of the Nativity that I've got on my bookcase at the end of this video, so you can see the completed set. I was hoping to make a shepherd, but sadly I've run out of time. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it between Christmas and New Year, and it may be something that I'll do as an add-on perhaps next Christmas, because the basic pattern for Joseph is I just have to change the colours basically. So I could add a shepherd, but especially if we've got a sheep, it kind of seems right that you should have a shepherd, but it wasn't actually part of the pattern. So yeah, so I hope you like these guys. I'm actually quite chuffed with them. Like I say, they have sort of double meaning for me for Christmas and a reminder of my aunt and uncle. So that's it. So I hope you've enjoyed this. The next video will be this guy up here, and it will be nearly Christmas. So until then, stay unstressed, stay well, happy crafting, and remember, till next time, stay true to yourself. Bye.